So on this video, we've got to talk about the number one carb, like the worst carb for your health. And it doesn't matter if you are trying to lose weight or you're trying to prevent a chronic disease or you're trying to heal from an autoimmune condition. This carb is literally worse than sugar. So on this video, we're going to walk through what that carb is, why does this happen when you eat this carb, and what you can do to replace it with something a whole lot healthier. Okay, for starters, I hope you all are reading ingredient labels. So that's the first thing to really navigate this carb that I want to talk about here. You've got to be able to navigate an ingredient label. And you have to start by looking at the ingredient label. So my first question, and you put it in the comments, because I hope this is like all of you raising your hand there and saying, yes, I do this. When you buy a food, do you look at the ingredient label? If you don't, then before I even dive into this, you need to do that. You have to read the ingredients. Second thing, what you need to know about an ingredient label is that the ingredients are put in the order of the amount that is in that product. So things that are listed out first, there's going to be more of those compared to the things that are listed at the end of the ingredient label. So with that in mind, this is more deadly than sugar, and it is a carb that is put in the ingredients. So it's not necessarily like a food product you're going to see on the shelf in your grocery store. It's more something that is in almost all foods, especially very sweet food. Any guesses what it is? High fructose corn syrup. So high fructose corn syrup is the most deadly carbohydrate on the planet. So you got to read the ingredients to know if it's in a food or not. You're going to find they're in breads and cakes and pastas, cookies. They're in so many food products. So that's the first thing to be aware of. Now, what it turns out, why high fructose corn syrup is so much worse for your body than sugar is because it bypasses your bloodstream. When you eat high fructose corn syrup or a product with high fructose corn syrup in it, it's not even going into your bloodstream, it's going straight to your liver. It does not get utilized by the bloodstream like other sugars are. It just goes straight to the liver, and in small amounts, your liver is able to break down fructose. So for example, fruit is high in fructose. It has a lot of fiber. A lot of fruit has really good fiber that's great for the microbiome. And yes, in small amounts, even the fructose from sugar is going to go to the liver. But it's not damaging because it's small amounts and the liver is able to handle small amounts. With high fructose corn syrup, we have two major problems. Is that because it's a synthetic version of fructose that has been derived from corn, it actually goes straight to the liver, and because it is so high on the glycemic index, it's such a man-made synthetic toxic form of sugar, it immediately damages the liver. And then if you are eating these products over and over again, you are creating something called fatty liver disease, which non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is definitely on the rise as we're seeing food companies not take this one ingredient out of their products. Now, something I want to bring this home to those of you that are fasting. I want to bring this home to those of you that are working on your hormonal health, what the liver does, because the liver next to the brain is the hardest working organ in our body. So it not only has to detoxify, but your liver makes cholesterol, your liver breaks and burns fat, and your liver will make certain nutrients and break down in certain nutrients into creating glutathione, which is a detoxifier for your whole system. So the liver is pretty darn important. We want to keep it in good shape. And what we know about high fructose corn syrup is that when it gets to the liver, because the liver can't break it down, guess where the liver decides to put that high fructose corn syrup? It stores it as fat. So you have two major problems here. You've got the issue where, oh my gosh, it's damaging the liver, making it harder for you to burn fat. And because the liver can't break down high fructose corn syrup, it goes and it puts it and stores it as fat. This is the root of why we have an obesity epidemic in our world, and our food companies and our government, the governments that are regulating these food companies are not pulling high fructose corn syrup out of our food system. And this is why I wanted to highlight it here, because this is the root of what is going on with the obesity challenge. Now, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you the links, and what we know is the more high fructose corn syrup that you eat, the more you can contribute to fatty liver disease. So those of you who already know you have fatty liver disease, pull this ingredient out. It's in sodas, it's in the products I talked about. Those of you who want to prevent that, make sure that you're not eating those ingredients. But those of you that are trying to metabolically switch, get over here into this fat burning place and you're struggling, I'm going to ask you to go into your pantry right now and read your ingredients and look where you may be ingesting high fructose corn syrup, because your liver isn't going to be able to get into ketosis. It's not going to be able to burn fat as long as this ingredient continues to be in your diet. That is how important it is to pull it out. Okay, and that's just the first thing. Second thing that high fructose corn syrup does is that it is pro-inflammatory. It inflames the body. So when inflammation comes in the body, not only does that lead to brain fog, not only does that make you feel swollen, those of you that are working on making sure you don't get a bloated belly, those of you that have chronic pain in joints, those of you with migraines, those of you with trouble focusing, what we know is anything that's pro-inflammatory is going to exasperate those symptoms. So it was really interesting because there is a study that I'm going to put in the links here, that a 2022 study found that high fructose corn syrup not only is worse than table sugar, but it greatly increased a marker on your blood that you will be able to see called C-reactive protein. So any of you that have had blood work drawn recently, go and look at your C-reactive protein, because if that's increased or towards the end of the high end of the range, there's a good chance it's coming from ingesting high fructose corn syrup. So it's pro-inflammatory. Those of you that have chronic pain and you're like, I'm struggling to get the joint pain to go away, try pulling high fructose corn syrup out of your diet and see if that inflammation goes down. Those of you that are feeling bloated because of maybe menopause and your body's ability to break down hormones, high fructose corn syrup is only going to exacerbate your menopausal symptoms and contribute to more of the bloat. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to get this ingredient out. Now,
okay, my baby's coming to you. Eat like a girl. You want to know the foods that will support hormones? Guess what? I have them for you already. It's a free giveaway. Just click the link below and I'll send you a list of all the foods that support amazing hormonal health.
Now, the third thing I want to say about this, and why I started with the ingredient label and reading that, is that high fructose corn syrup, once you start to look around, it's everywhere. So it's hidden in foods. And so anything that has a sweetness to it, you want to check and make sure that it doesn't have high fructose corn syrup in there, because that sweetness could be contributed because of high fructose corn syrup. Now, here's the catch. It's not just in desserty things. It can be in bacon. It can be in sausage. It can be in granolas. It's in some yogurts. It's in nut butters. It's in breads. I've even gone into the grocery store and seen keto bread with high fructose corn syrup, which makes no sense at all. So hopefully you can see that I'm ridiculously passionate about this. I'm mostly mad at the food industry for allowing this toxic ingredient to permeate our foods, but we have to start voting with our dollars, which means we have to look at the ingredients and put down and stop buying those foods that are high in fructose corn syrup, because they're killing people. And this is what our food industries, or the FDA here in America, should be protecting us against, but they're not. So we've got to take back control for our own selves. Now, what's your alternative? So what if you like fructose? What if you like sweetness? What can you look at? Now, I will tell you that when it comes to sweetness in my family, we focused on fruit. So yes, fruit has fructose in it, but it also has fiber and it has small amounts of fructose. So it's easier for the liver to break down, as opposed to high fructose corn syrup has high amounts of fructose and is synthetic and harder for the liver to break down. So if you're trying to get off some of those sweets, I encourage you to start by just moving to fruit. Just try that for a week. Try it for 2 weeks, where you get all this prepackaged food out of your house. Just throw it away. Get it out so it's not tempting you. And then fill your fruit basket and try to change your taste buds just by adding fruit in. That step alone will allow so many of you to get into a deeper ketosis, burn more fat, lose more weight, and ultimately save your life. Second thing is that you're going to need to really start to read ingredients. And I think a lot of us have gotten lazy because the ingredient lists keep changing. They're long. They put fake words in there like natural flavings, which Vani Hari for the Food Babe, I interviewed her on a Resetter podcast, said that next to high fructose corn syrup, natural flavors is one of the worst ingredients because they can shove all the toxic food ingredients into one category called natural flavors. So we've got to read labels. We've got to ideally avoid foods that even have a label and move towards foods that don't have a label. And then that way, and then if you have a sweet tooth, move to fruit. Fruit is a phenomenal, the earth has provided you a sweet little treat that has so many upsides to it. But high fructose corn syrup is absolutely the one that needs to be out. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do, because I know that many of you have been watching me for a while, and we have a vast array of people in their nutritional knowledge. So put in the comments, I want to know if you ever really understood how damaging high fructose corn syrup was to your liver, how it contributed to fat, and how it promoted inflammation. So if that's brand new, just put it in the comments, let me know. Those of you who are like, hey, I already knew this. Thank you, Dr. Mindy, but I already knew this. What I'm going to ask you to do is help the people in our community here. How did you get off high fructose corn syrup? Well, if you were on it, how did you get off of it? And what are some of your favorite strategies when that sweet tooth comes in? What do you like to go to? Because I think a lot of people know cakes and cookies and little desserty treats like that. But when you take that away, they're like, well, what am I supposed to eat for dessert? There's a lot of things you can eat for dessert. And some of you are already eating them. So go ahead and put it in the comments so we can all learn from them. From you. So, yep, I really wish I didn't have to do this video. I really wish our food industry would protect us, but they're not. So we got to take back control by reading labels and voting with our dollars. And that means not purchasing food with high fructose corn syrup in it. As long as we keep purchasing it, the food industry is going to say, well, that's okay. I'm going to keep making it. We send a message the moment we stop purchasing it. And not only are you going to save money, not only are you going to save your health, but you're going to be a part of a new paradigm, a new solution that emerges in healthcare that has nutrition at the forefront of it. So, as always, I hope that helped.
Okay, where are my gals that are struggling with hormonal imbalance? Bloated, feeling like you're not making progress with weight loss? You need to add these foods in so that you can support better hormonal health.
There is a lifestyle that estrogen wants you to live, and there's a lifestyle that progesterone wants you to live.